If you like watching I Love Lucy, you better also like musical numbers because the show is full of them. There were over 100 musical performances featured in its 181 episode run, 179 if you're a prude, with some episodes being filled with them. With so many songs, there are bound to be some winners and some duds. Some are comedic, some are sincere, and some are just there to fill the time. Here are my favorite musical numbers from the show. Number 10. I Love Lucy. It's the theme song, but with lyrics. Ricky presents the song as a birthday gift to Lucy in the episode Lucy's Last Birthday, and it's such a fun meta moment. My mind was blown when I first saw the episode as a kid and heard Ricky singing the theme song. The music was written by Elliot Daniel in 1951 as a favor to show producer Jess Oppenheimer. Daniel asked to be uncredited due to being under contract at 20th Century Fox at the time. The lyrics were written by Harold Adamson in 1953 specifically for the Last Birthday episode. The song was released as a single in 1953, with the flip side being There's a Brand New Baby at Our House, a song written by Desi in 1951. Number 9. I'm in Love with a Dragon's Dinner. Lucy Goes to Scotland, an episode that seems to be universally detested by fans. Personally, I enjoy the episode. It's not great by any means, but it has some fun moments and the songs are ridiculous and so stupid that they're funny at times. The entire episode is Lucy's dream and this song is sung by Ricky, aka Scotty McCardo, to Lucy, McGillicuddy that is, who is destined to be eaten by a dragon. It's kind of catchy, and the lyrics are so bonkers that they get a chuckle out of me.
But the hungry dragon will serve ye too. He'll serve ye a la carte.
He'll serve me a la carte.
He'll serve ye a la carte.
Elliot Daniel returned to compose the music for this episode, and Larry Orenstein, who plays the mayor, supplied the lyrics. Number 8. How About You? This song is sung twice by Lucy and Van Johnson in the episode The Dancing Star. Their back and forth during the song is cute, and this song is another earworm I find myself randomly humming from time to time. The song's lyrics were written by Ralph Freed and the music by Burton Lane for the film musical Babes on Broadway, where Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney sing it. It was nominated for an Academy Award in 1943, but lost to the holiday classic White Christmas, written by Irving Berlin. Spoiler, you'll hear more about him later. How About You has been covered many times by artists including Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, and Shirley Bassey, with the lyrics often being slightly altered with each version, and it's considered to be a part of the Great American Songbook. Number 7. Carolina in the Morning. This song appeared twice in the show, once in Ricky Loses His Voice, and again as a short callback in Lucy's Showbiz Swan Song, both times sung by Fred and Ethel. I absolutely love Vivian Vance's voice, and hearing her and William Frawley harmonizing on this song is ear candy to me. This song actually has a real-life connection to Frawley, as it was considered one of his signature songs, performing it in his vaudeville acts throughout the 1920s and 30s, as well as in the film The Lemon Drop Kid in 1934. Carolina's music was written by Walter Donaldson, and the lyrics by Gus Kahn in 1922, debuting in the Broadway musical review The Passing Show of 1922. Its frequent use in vaudeville acts, including Frawley's, helped popularize it and cement its place as another entry in the Great American Songbook. Number 6. Cheek to Cheek. And yet another Great American Songbook standard, Cheek to Cheek is sung by Ricky as he and Lucy dance together in the episode Pregnant Women Are Unpredictable. I really like this arrangement that the band plays, and it's a really cute moment between the couple. The song itself is very catchy and was written by Irving Berlin between 1934 and 1935, specifically for Fred Astaire to sing in his new film musical, Top Hat. The song was named the #1 hit of 1935 and was nominated for the Best Song at the 1936 Oscars, losing to Lullaby of Broadway. Cheek to Cheek has been covered by 438 different artists, according to secondhandsongs.com, including Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, Billie Holiday, Frank Sinatra, and my personal favorite rendition, Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett. I'm sure that's bound to piss some people off. Number 5. The Lady in Red. This song is sung by Ricky as he dances with his old friend and dance partner from Cuba, Renita. The way he looks at her during this number must have caused some friction between Lucy and Desi at home. I know you're supposed to be acting, but damn, at least try to hide that hard-on, Desi. Anyway, I'm going to stop mentioning how catchy each song is because it's a given for all of the songs on the list. I love this number and they look great performing it. The song's music was written by Ali Rubel with lyrics by Mort Dixon in 1935 and was featured in the soundtrack of the film In Caliente, released the same year. It was also featured in a merry melody of the same name and a Porky Pig feature, Picador Porky, in 1937, and later in 1962 it was featured in an episode of The Twilight Zone. Number 4. By the Waters of the Minnetonka. I have a lot to say about this one. So, the song was featured in the unfortunately titled episode, The Indian Show, featuring lots of cultural appropriation that definitely would not fly today. Regardless of how it's featured, the song has an incredibly beautiful melody, and it's sung by Ricky and his singing partner, Juanita. And then later again by Ricky and Lucy. The lovely melody I mentioned was stolen from Sitting Eagle, a Sioux tribe singer who was recorded on a reservation in Montana singing a Sioux love song in 1911. It's unknown how old the Sioux love song is. The recording was made by Thurlow Lawrence, who later turned the song into By the Waters of the Minnetonka with lyricist J.M. Cavanos and published it in 1913. I'm unsure how much of the song is Sitting Eagle's and how much is Lawrence and Cavanos's, but I do know that, as far as I'm aware, Sitting Eagle wasn't credited nor given any rights to the song he inspired, nor any of the money made off of it. I will say this. Lawrence seems to have genuinely loved the music of Native Americans, traveling to different tribes and learning about their music, and he did work to educate people on Native American customs and culture. However, he made a living taking this music, turning it into his own commodity, and publishing it under his own name. Not cool, Thurlow. Not cool. Number 3. I'll See You in CUBA. This song was performed in 2 separate episodes, The Mustache and Ricky's Contract, both times by Ricky. It's a fun, exciting tune that I always enjoy hearing. This is another one written by Irving Berlin, written for the musical revue The Greenwich Village Follies in 1919. It's been covered by artists such as Bing Crosby and Nat King Cole. And there isn't much else to say about this one. Number 2. Lily of the Valley. This song was featured in the episode The Operetta and is sung by Ethel Mertz playing Lily of the Valley in an operetta written entirely by Lucy called The Pleasant Peasant. The song starts out slow and dreamy and ends with a dramatic shift to rock and roll at the end.
So if by any chance you see a prince who has a plan for me, tell him not to tell him, not to tell him, come back to Lily of the Valley.
Not only is this hilarious, but it's a banger. Seriously, where is the Vivian Vance rock and roll album I have been waiting for? The fact that she never recorded and released any music is a shame. I can't tell you how many times I've watched this scene just so I could hear Vivian belt out the ending. Ethel is later heard singing the song again while doing housework in the episode Redecorating the Mertz's Apartment. This song was written specifically for the episode, with Elliot Daniel back as composer and series writers Jess Oppenheimer, Madeline Pugh, and Bob Carroll Jr. supplying the lyrics. Number 1. Cuban Pete Sally Sweet. This song was sung by Ricky and Lucy in the episode The Diet, again by Ricky in The Hedda Hopper Story, and Ricky also performed a Western version of it in Lucy Goes to the Rodeo. The entire number with Lucy and Ricky is fantastic, and in my opinion, it's the essential musical performance from the show. The song was written by Joseph Norman in 1936, with Louis Armstrong performing a popular version of it in 1937, and Desi Arnaz performing it in a 1946 movie of the same name in which he starred. In 1950, in order to convince skeptical television executives that audiences would respond well to them as a couple, Lucy and Desi went on a short tour in which they performed vaudeville-style comedy acts, one of them being the Cuban Pete Sally Sweet number. The Sally Sweet half isn't in the original song, and was added later by them for Lucy to sing, and their show was a critical and commercial success, paving the way for I Love Lucy to be picked up by CBS. The song was revived in the 1994 Jim Carrey film The Mask, which is where many people from younger generations know the song from. And those are my favorite musical numbers from I Love Lucy. If you'd like to hear the history behind more of the songs used in the show, comment below and let me know, and I will make a part 2. A big shout out to Tumblr blog Paper Moon Loves Lucy, who has a ton of great information about the episodes. Their blog will be linked in the description, along with other sources I used for information. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can see my future videos. Thanks for watching!